Girl, I'm all about leave from the rest. Spend a little time. Girl, do you mind catching the train?
I'm only 16, man.
Soft like feather, girl, sweet like candy. My girl, be the dime piece that keeps one-handed. Girl, like cameras at a graduate.